Welcome to another Friday webinar with the Arkansas Public Policy Panel. I'm Osyrus Bolly, the Racial Equity Coordinator of the Arkansas Public Policy Panel. In this webinar, we're going to have a great discussion about in the Uyghur Genocide with Hadia and Abby. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. And so this is a very unique webinar this week because this is our first time having high school students actually talk about the work that they're doing, and it's like perfect timing this week because we have Civic Engagement Day, which we'll talk about later. But I'm gonna just let you all introduce yourselves and just tell a little bit about who you are, and we'll get into the discussion today.
Yeah, so thank you for having us on, and thank you for this opportunity for us to talk about some of the work that we do. So as you said, we're high school students. My name is Hadia.
And my name is Abby.
And we're the project leaders of End the Uyghur Genocide. I'm the founder, and we've been working on this project for about a year and a half now. And we made a lot of great progress. And this year, our main focus has been legislation in the Arkansas legislative session with CFC.
Great. And for those who don't know about the Uyghur Genocide, can y'all give a little bit of background on what the history of the Uyghur Genocide is and how you all started the group?
Yeah, so a little bit about the history. The Uyghur Genocide is currently happening in Xinjiang, China, and there's an ethnic group of people called the Uyghurs, as well as a few other minority ethnic groups in Xinjiang. And basically the Chinese government is taking these people and placing them in internment camps where they're abused and tortured and politically indoctrinated, forced to forsake their religion and their culture, and they're also forced to work. And it's just a very terrible situation. The conditions that they're living in are really terrible. And as of now, there's about more than 1 million Uyghurs who are detained. And so it's a really big issue, and it's just a really terrible issue. And then how we started.
Recording in progress.
This meeting is being recorded.
And so how we started was that basically when I found out about what was happening, I attended just some workshops with some Uyghurs who were talking about like the experiences that their families were going through and everything that they had to deal with. I was just really motivated, and then I started reaching out to a lot of people to see like what I could do, just brainstorming ideas. And then we came up with this concept. So Abby and I started the team, and then we've had people join since then. We started off by creating social media awareness, like educating ourselves, educating others. And then we had a virtual event with a member of the Uyghur World Congress come and speak about her experiences, just making the public more aware. And then we created an original short film, or a short play, fully student-led, written, acted, videoed, everything. And it was based on true events that a Uyghur woman went through in the camps and just her life and things of the sort, just to incorporate art into the work we do. So after doing all that, we were recognized by Citizens First Congress and invited as members. And originally we were just gonna be members and just kind of be part of CFC. But then when we realized, the convention's happening, we saw an opportunity to become priority legislation. And thankfully, we were chosen as one of the short-term priorities in the convention. And since then, we've been working on that.
Great. And how has it been, the learning process been for you all as far as learning how to put together your resolution for the CFC convention and progressing on to being a priority, and then actually drafting legislation for your resolution during the legislative session? How has that process been, and what was your experience like?
Yeah, so I think it was definitely one of the most extensive processes we've had to go through. It took a lot of outreach. One of the main organizations we worked with was the Athena Institute and also the Uyghur Human Rights Project. And it was definitely a very it was a challenging journey for us as students and not having like all the access to resources, like in terms of legislation, but we were able to pull through, and we had a lot of support from CFC, from those groups, from certain legislators we worked with. And so, yeah, I think in the end it all worked out, but we definitely learned a lot from the process. We learned a lot about the lawmaking, and we're still learning about that, as we go through our resolution and everything right now. So it was a very eye-opening experience, I would say.
Got you. And you also got to experience our lobby day, the Citizens First Congress, and you actually got an opportunity to like see how committees are ran and what happens when they convene in the House and in the Senate, and get to know some of the legislators or introduce yourself to the legislators. How was your experience at the lobby day, and was that like y'all's first time actually being in the Capitol and speaking to legislators like face to face?
Yeah, so I think for both of us, that was our first time being at the Capitol for actual like lobbying and all of that. So it was a really great experience, and I would say overall it was just really inspiring to be there with CFC and see all of the people who were all so devoted to their individual causes, but then also supporting one another. And it was just like a really great community there. But then in the Capitol itself, I also think I just learned a lot more about how bills really are passed and the process of committee and then to the floor, and how important the networking and talking to all the legislators and really just trying to get your name out there and get them to know who you are and what you stand for and all of that. So I definitely learned a lot from going.
Definitely. I was actually had an opportunity to be with y'all part of the lobby day, and I think that the experience. I think anybody has the opportunity to actually go to the Capitol during a legislative session, got some free time, I think you should definitely do it. People actually were shocked to see how things were ran. What were some of the things that you all witnessed on lobby day that just kind of just shocked you, or what new experiences did you experience about how things were ran, and just share a little bit about like what you can expect when they go to the Capitol during legislative session.
Yeah, so I think for us, it was like we're not, fully in the real world right now, still being in high school. So, like, the experience that we have with legislators is from, Girls' Day or debate and things like that. So, doing congressional debate and then seeing the difference in how actual, legislators do things, and then how we were like, how we were debating and how we were doing things, there was a lot of differences. I think there was a lot less formality than I was expecting. There was a lot less like procedure in that sense. Things moved a lot more, quickly than I was expecting. It was also very interesting to see just the different reactions that everybody had to certain things, or like you would talk, on one bill for maybe like an hour, and then you have 20 people testifying, and then another bill you have like a 2-minute conversation, nobody testifies, and it just passes. So it's very interesting to see topics and just the dynamic of how everything worked. I think that was very like shocking as well to see.
Got you. And so for people who like are unfamiliar with the Uyghur genocide, why is this a topic important that for all Arkansans, but just internationally? Why is this such an important topic that we need to have resonate with everybody, and talk about the resolution and the news as to what happened this week?
So, in regards to why it's important, I think the reason that it's important is just because it's such a serious situation, and the extent of the situation. Like, there is a million people, more than a million people, and it's historians compare it to the Holocaust. They're calling it a second Holocaust. And so with that in mind, it's definitely not just an issue in China, it's a global issue, and it's something that I think everyone should be concerned about and should be looking for ways that they can either learn more about it or influence the situation. And especially because of all of the forced labor in these camps, there's so many products coming out of China that are made unethically through that forced labor, cotton and silicone, and just so many products that are used in our everyday lives are made with this forced labor. And so I think it's important for everyone to realize where they're getting things from, and then also just kind of realize like the sourcing of everything and try not to support the unethical practices that are being perpetuated there.
Yeah, I agree. And like, as Abby said, it is, the second Holocaust as being described by historians. And I think definitely in American culture, we really, talk about the Holocaust and we highlight it a lot, which is really, really important. And that's, really great. But I think a big thing to learn from that is that we need to learn from history, not just teach it. And the reason for learning history is that we don't, repeat the mistakes, the sins of the past. And I think that's really being done right now. And I think a lot of times when people read history, they're like, the Holocaust was happening. Why didn't, this group do anything? Why didn't these people do anything? Why? But those things are also happening today. Like as we speak, that forced labor is happening, that abuse is happening, that ethnic cleansing is happening, that forced sterilization is, there's so many of those things that are happening, and so we really feel like we need to take action in that matter. And yeah, and then you also asked about our resolution.
Yeah, so the premise of our resolution is to encourage the Arkansas government from not contracting with companies that benefit from Uyghur forced labor. And so we kind of wanted to, we know that those products are coming into the United States, and we wanted to try and just kind of start that economic pressure. And so with that, the companies that benefit, we just encourage the Arkansas government not to contract with them, not to support them, and be complicit in that supply chain.
Yeah, and so even with so there was a national bill passed. It was a really great bill, UFLPA, and it highlights a lot of really important things and puts a lot more like pressure on companies to actually be aware of their supply chains, which is really, really important. That transparency is really important in all of this. But then other activists and experts still recommend state level legislation, and there's been a lot of resolutions like ours that have been passing even very recently in California, for example, in different areas as well. And so this legislation basically furthers the cause of, all of this, and puts another level of assurity that like companies actually are doing what they're saying they're doing, because there's still, aspects such as investments and aspects such as just, having business relations, even if it's not, monetary gain. There's a lot of different things that this would cover.
Great. And my next question I want to ask is just, I'm really impressed with the work that you all have done so far. And a lot of people, Citizen Search Congress, are very impressed with the work that you all have done. And like, what advice, you all are seniors in high school. There's a lot going on your senior year. And, with workload and making decisions for the future, you all were able to work on this legislation. And I know originally, you want to file a bill and y'all had to transition and kind of adapt to a new plan. But what advice would you all give like other students that are like will watch this later on how they can, navigate high school work, leisure time, all of that, and still work on an important issue like this as a student? What advice would you all give them?
Great question.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, I can. I think the biggest thing is definitely like priorities. I definitely don't think doing any of this is easy for us or the rest of the team, or it's not like oh, we're not doing anything else. Like our entire team is highly involved, capable youth. Like they all take out their personal time to work on this. And I think at the end of the day, it's like what you really care about. And I think we kind of went with it because, we're like, we have an idea, we have a concept, we want to make change, we want to do something. And I think with consistent effort and just hope, you can do whatever you put your mind to, right? Like, yeah, we had to give up some things. We didn't do, maybe everything that else that, normal high school kids do, but we did a lot of it. I mean, we still, we're still involved in clubs. Abby's editor of the yearbook. I mean, we have like lives, like everybody else too. So it's just like treating it as, this is something that I want to do, and you put your mind to it, and then you kind of have to make that time. And I think mentorship is also just really important. I think we've had a lot of guidance from experts in the field, but even like, just everyday people we already interacted with, like support from our friends, support from our families, our teachers. And I think having those support groups is really important to make sure that you can keep doing the work that you do and also like take care of yourself in the process.
Yeah, I would also say like it's important to be consistent on a daily basis, like how she was saying, consistent effort. But we actually have a class where we have the opportunity to work on this project every single day. And for anyone who's interested in kind of pursuing activism or just a project that's not school related, I would just say to be consistent on it every day, even if you don't have the opportunity to do it during school. If you just said like every day I'll sit down for 10 minutes and work on it, over time that really builds up and that leads to a lot of progress. And I think that we've been blessed to have that opportunity of consistent work, and that's really why it's accelerated so quickly.
Yeah. I got another question for you all, and I think the people watching will definitely find this interesting. A lot of times we work on different issues, and we want to create the legislation, but it's hard to get sponsors. It's hard to get in contact with like legislators. What was that process like? And like, if y'all could just estimate how many different legislators you reached out to over the last, let's say 6 months. How many different legislators have you reached out to? Because y'all started working on this in the summer of 2022, correct? Yeah. So how many let's just go back to last summer then. Like, how many legislators did y'all reach out to? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I think people think that it's easy to find a legislator to sponsor a bill for you, and that's a process in itself. So, like what was that process like for you all? And just estimate how many people did y'all talk to, legislators wise, about supporting this legislation, introducing it to them, educating them on it, and asking them for help?
We definitely reached out to a lot. Can you think of a number?
I couldn't tell you a number, but even recently, like we did a campaign where we like divided up all of them and decided to email and call all of them. We didn't have to get through all of it because our resolution, it passed, but we'll talk about that more in a second. But very large number, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. And we also went through quite a few, like trying to find a sponsor. And so I think even just with that, we would talk to someone and they would seem really interested, but then, understandably, they would have a lot of other obligations they were already committed to, or just didn't really have the time to do it. And so we definitely went through a lot of legislators in the process of trying to find a sponsor.
Yeah. And it's like, I would say for sponsorship specifically, at least 10 or so. But like with every person, it's a different, besides being a politician, they are people and they all have different personalities that you kind of have to adjust to in terms of communication. It's also difficult for us not being like able to go to the Capitol every day and just like talk to them in person. Since we don't live close to the Capitol either, all of it is pretty much electronic, or if we can get another person to talk to them in person for us or things like that. It's also interesting to see the dynamic of how they will react to student work. Like some people will be very like excited and supportive that, like high school kids are doing this. And some people, I mean, they won't outright say it, but it kind of feels like they almost don't believe in it because high school kids, it's like, oh, this is a high school project. We're like, no, we're legit. It's not, So it's definitely been a very interesting process. But I think the person we ended up with for our current Senate resolution that just got passed, Senator Chesterfield, has been an amazing support system for us since the beginning. She was like the first person we talked to because Abby met her at Girls State. And like even before the CFC convention, we were just discussing ideas with her. And she's just been supportive the entire time. And I mean, she's just been amazing to work with.
That's good. Shout out to Senator Chesterfield. She's a very busy legislator, but I think she was perfect for you all to work with on the Senate resolution. And it passed on, what was that, Tuesday, correct? Tuesday earlier this week? Great. So Senate Resolution 34 passed. My last question to you all, what are your next steps as far as, now that the Senate resolution is passed, what are your next steps for End the Uyghur Genocide, and what can we expect to hear from you about next?
Yeah, so like in the immediate future, we just got the Senate resolution passed by Senator Chesterfield, and then we're having Vivian Flowers take it up in the House. So we're gonna work on that like immediate, next few weeks or so until session ends, trying to get it also passed in the House. With a unanimous vote, it passed in the Senate, so that was really amazing. And then it might turn into a joint resolution, or it might be two separate ones. We still have to figure out some of those processes. So that's the immediate future. And then besides that, I mean, after this has been definitely our focus for like this whole year. So what we usually do, we have like an end of the year team meeting, kind of debrief things, and then we kind of work on the concept for the next year over summer. So we'd be deciding most of that together in the near future. But as of now, we're just trying to get all of this, wrapped up here, and that's our main focus.
Well, I know you guys are graduating this year, so I hope you remain members of CFC even after high school. I'm sure you'll be very successful in your next endeavors as well. But also, tomorrow, Arkansas Youth Civic Engagement Day, you all will be doing a presentation along with other youth groups from Conway, from North Little Rock, and we'll have a good time tomorrow. That's noon tomorrow at Josephine Pankey Community Center. It's a free event. We encourage all the teenagers, all the young adults to come out and check out these presentations, discussions, performances. Lunch will be provided, and the Q&A will be great. Without giving it away tomorrow about what you all will do, just tell us a little bit about what we can expect from you all tomorrow, and hope you all are excited about it too.
Yeah, so we're super excited to come tomorrow. I think it'll be a really great event. I encourage everyone to come. Basically, we're just going to be talking about our project, kind of our story, our mission, and then really just going over like our progress, how we've gotten to where we are. And I think we'll also be going a little bit deeper into how we run our project, and we'll have another team member with us. And so we'll be able to kind of show all the different parts of our project and how we've been able to get here.
Great. And we're encouraging everybody to do a little relationship building while we're out there. I think that a lot of times we forget to listen to the youth, but when you all speak, y'all have some of the biggest networks, biggest followings. I already have a base of people that you can target because you go to school with all of them. So you all can do some great, powerful work, and you're doing great work. I appreciate y'all for being here with us today. If y'all have anything else to say, I can drop that right now if y'all want to.
Yeah, and thank you so much again for having us. If you guys would like to learn more, you can check out our Instagram. It's Uyghur_project, UYGHGUR_project, and that will take you to most of our other social media. We're always open to like community outreach if anybody wants, more information, more educational resources, because it is a topic that, not too many people are super aware of. So that's one of our biggest things is educational outreach, and we hope to see you guys tomorrow at the event.
Oh, we're excited for it.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us on our Friday webinar series. For everybody that wants to check out more about the Uyghur Project, we have the social media contacts. And tomorrow, April 1st, Josephine Paikin Community Center, 13700 Cantrell Road at noon. We have Arkansas Youth Civic Engagement Day, presentations from End the Uyghur Genocide, Little Rock Central High Young Leftists, Central High NAACP, the Righteous Poets will be there, and we'll have some community members there with us as well. Senator Joyce Elliott's organization, Get Loud Arkansas, will also be in the building. Voter education, voter registration, and voter mobilization. Little Rock Freedom Fund will be there. Sankofa Community Strategist, Arkansas Public Policy Panel, Arkansas Youth Coalition for Social Change. We got a bunch of support. Future builders will be there too as well. We encourage everybody to come out for a free event. All ages are welcome. Until next time, peace.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much.